Hi everyone, and welcome to day one of getting our knowledge ready for our book this week. Hopefully this is our last week of at-home learning, and next week we'll be able to do this with you face to face. Okay, don't forget today's reading lesson is linked to your writing lesson. After you've looked at the front cover, you're going to make your prediction about what you think is going to happen in the story. Okay. This is our new book for the week ahead, and this is Mr. McGee and the Blackberry Jam. This book, like last week's book, is written by Pamela Allen. Do you recognise the main character? It's Mr. McGee again. This time he's on a different adventure. Today we have just the one learning intention, which is to use our knowledge of a book to make a prediction before reading and during our reading. Our success criteria is I can make a prediction about what will happen in the story, and I can change my prediction after getting more information from my picture walk. So have a look at the front cover, think about what you can see. Read the title with me. Remember, it's called Mr. McGee and the Blackberry Jam. I can see Mr. McGee walking away from his treehouse with a tin can in his hand. Because it's about blackberry jam, I think he must be going to collect some blackberries from somewhere. I wonder where he'll get them from. Okay, now that you've seen the cover and we've read the title, make your prediction about what you think the story might be about or what you think will happen. Pause the video here and write down your prediction for your writing today. Then make sure to come back after you've made your prediction to do our picture walk. Okay, off you go. All right, let's do our picture walk for Mr. McGee and the Blackberry Jam, written by Pamela Allen. As we do that, I want you to think about what's happening and whether you will change your prediction or keep it the same. Okay, I can see Mr. McGee waking up in his bed under the tree. Looks like he's gone to have his breakfast, but he doesn't look very impressed. He looks a bit sad about his breakfast. He's looking at his toast. Looks a little bit grumpy. The cat's asleep in his bed. He's walking off with his can in his hand, and he looks like he's thinking about something. So he's got an idea, something he's up to. He's up on top of the fence. It looks like it's a sheep paddock that he's near. So he's on the side where the sheep are. I wonder what's on the other side. Oh, looks like there's some cows. And he's found a bush. I think that might be his blackberry bush that he's picking the blackberries from for his jam, maybe. It's called Blackberry Jam. Oh, the cows are all coming up behind him to see what he's doing. Looks like they're very interested. He looks like he feels a bit cornered. I think he's a bit worried about what the cows are going to do. Okay. Read your prediction that you wrote down at the beginning. Do you still think that's what's going to happen, or would you like to change your prediction? Remember, you don't need to rewrite anything, but you can tell your mum or dad what your new prediction might be. Oh, it looks like the cows are licking Mr. McGee. Not sure how he feels about that. Oh, there's lots of laughing, so he must enjoy it. But oh dear, if you look over to the left of the page, looks like there's a big bull. Wonder what's going to happen. Doesn't look very happy. I think Mr. McGee should be worried. Oh, he's attacked Mr. McGee, and it looks like he's about to toss him on his horn. Yep, tossed him through the air, and Mr. McGee's gone flying through the air. Look, he's about to land on top of that sheep. Oh, it looks like he's landed right on the sheep, and now the sheep is running with him on his back like he's riding a horse. And he's gone back and he looks like he's in bed now, so I wonder if he got his jam. Don't think he did. We'll have to read the story to see what happens. Okay, stop here. How did you go with your prediction? Do you want to change it or add to it now before we read the story? Tell an adult what you think. Okay, so what words do you think might be in the story? I think we might read some words like tree, bed, can, blackberries, sheep, cows, scared, picking, licking, bull, run, flew, road. Can you think of any other words that might be in the story? Remember, knowing the words helps us when we go to do our reading. Have a think about some other words that might be in the story. All right. Today when we read the story, I'm going to practice using my Chunky Monkey reading strategies again to help me better. Let's have a look. Mr. McGee and the Blackberry Jam by Pamela Allen. Underneath this apple tree, underneath this apple tree lives a man called Mr. McGee. This morning he was feeling grumpy. This morning he was feeling grumpy. He'd made the porridge and it was... That word looks very similar to grumpy. It's got umpy at the end. That's a rhyming word. It rhymes with grumpy lumpy. He'd made the porridge and it was lumpy. He'd put 2 sugars in his tea, then spilt the lot and burnt his... Oh, this is a tricky word. K and N make the N sound in some words. Knee. He'd put 2 sugars in his tea, then spilt the lot and burnt his knee. When he went to butter his bread, he found the butter too hard to spread. So it wasn't surprising when he said, I hate marmalade. I want... Oh, there's 2 words there I know. Black and berry. When I put them together, it says blackberry. I hate marmalade. I want blackberry jam instead. So off he went with his billy can to find the blackberries for his jam, to find the blackberries for his jam. He walked and walked for quite a while until he came upon a stile. Guess what he could see from there? Blackberries everywhere. Shh. Oh, this is a tricky word, but I can see some parts I can break up. I can see shh. I can see the word out, which is a high frequency word I know. And I can see ing at the end, which is an ending. Shh, out, ing, shouting. Shouting, look what I have found. He took one leap onto the ground. So he could pick those big round berries, black and fat and big as cherries. One by one in the billy they dropped. He liked the sound of plip plop plopped. Now, while he picked so busily, behind him where he couldn't see, a herd of heifers gathered round to view the stranger they had found. Heifers is another word for a female cow. When Mr. McGee discovered them there, he blurted out, I've washed my hands, I've combed my hair. Oh, come on, girls, you're not being fair. You know that it is rude to stare. He turned his back and went on picking. He turned his back and went on picking, and that was when they started licking. All their tongues went in and out, up and down and round about. Mr. McGee began to squirm, as though he were a little worm. Stop it, please, you're tickling me. And then he giggled helplessly. Ha ha ha, ho ho ho, he he he, ha ha ha, ho ho ho, he he he. Just like a kookaburra's song, the laughing noise went on and on. The bull let out a mighty... that's a tricky word. I think if I do the E and two L's together, that makes an L sound, and OW can make an O sound. B-L-O, bellow. The bull let out a mighty bellow. Get out of here, you cheeky fellow. The startled heifers all turned round. The bull was pawing at the ground. Mr. McGee just turned to st. Oh, that's tricky because I thought that O-N-E was one. But if I say st1, that doesn't make sense. Mr. McGee just turned to st. O-N, stone. Mr. McGee just turned to stone. He couldn't run or move a bone. One moment he was standing there, the next he was tossed into the air. As he soared above the crowd, he just had time to shout out loud, "I think the lot of you are rotten!" Then both his hands clutched at his bottom. He landed softly in a heap on the back of a woolly sheep. He rode the sheep just like a horse and got home really fast, of course. That night when he was safe in bed, he thought about his day, then said, "I can't think what got in my head. It's marmalade I love on bread." What a funny Mr. McGee. Okay, compare your prediction to the actual story. So some ideas for you to think about with an adult. How do you think your prediction about the story compared to the actual story you read? What was the same? What was different? And what took you by surprise? Okay, we'll come back tomorrow and we'll have another go at reading the story, and we'll talk about some more things in the synonyms and the definitions of our wow word. Let's have a look tomorrow. See you later.